I made my first 100K at 23, quit my job and became a full-time trap producer. Now I have over 120 million streams, actually 123, and I produce music full-time. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I did it and how you can do it too without making the same mistakes as me. So, just to repeat, I'm gonna walk you through how you can get your first 100K and more as a trap producer. Now, the first step was locking in. So it was around 2019 when I got serious and I realized that I couldn't work a 9-to-5 for life. Because I started working at a job. The job wasn't really for me. I was there early mornings, late nights, working overtime, and nothing wrong with the job. Nothing wrong with having a job, especially when you're trying to come up with music because you don't want to be in a desperate place. But it still wasn't for me, and it wasn't something that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. I remember seeing my colleagues. I was actually working at like a care home. I remember seeing my colleagues they weren't happy about being there. They had lower back pain and they were mad about just about everything. And I knew that I did not want that to be me in the future. So everything changed when I met a Grammy award-winning producer, and it was from my friend. He helped me meet him, and when I saw him doing it, I was like, okay, cool, I can do it too. And that's when I decided to actually lock in and get really serious about this. So the first thing I did was that I set a tangible goal, and I decided that I won't stop until I achieve this. And funny enough, the tangible goal was actually 100K and over 100 million streams. That was my tangible goal. And I said to myself, I'm gonna do whatever it takes until I achieve this. So that was the first thing, just getting super clear on what I actually wanted and what I actually wanted to do. And then from there, I started not at once, but I started slowly, just naturally sacrificing everything that wasn't getting me closer to my goal. So for example, if my friends wanted to hang out, I would just naturally be like, okay, no, I don't want to. Sometimes I did want to, but then I was like, okay, no, I gotta lock in now. I gotta reach my goal. So I sacrificed that. So I didn't go out. I sat inside and made beats in my bedroom instead. And I would do that with everything, you know, like not just going out, but with really everything. Like I even goes as far as deleting the apps off my phone so that I wouldn't use them, stuff like that. Like I just became obsessed with being so efficient at making music so that I could do more and get better and get to that goal. So as I said, I became obsessed. That's the first step. And I would say that's the step for anybody looking to get into this, that if you really, really want to do this, become obsessed with it. Set a goal. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. But whatever goal you want to have, set it, make it clear, make it tangible, and then lock in and get obsessed. And really like sacrifice most things, whatever you feel comfortable with sacrificing. I always look at it like, when I go to there's certain things that for me personally, like not like the family and stuff like that, like I'd rather not achieve any goals. But the rest, I don't care. I want my goal first and foremost. Now, it's up to you to figure out where your line goes, but the higher threshold you have, the more likely you are to reach your goal. And by the way, before I move on with the value of this video, if you want a copy of this Google Doc and to learn more about producing music full time, I'm sharing it for free inside of my community. So I'm just going to show you the community real quick. Here's the feed. You can see people are getting wins, posting wins. People are asking for feedback, doing call a week, feedback call, and we're doing a lot of cool stuff. So feel free to join if you want to. The link is in the description. Now, that's step one. Step one is locking in, saying no to everything that isn't music, and getting super obsessed with making music. Now, step two is hilarious because that isn't enough. It's not enough to just work, and expect things to work. But you also need to get good. So the first thing I did to get good is, first of all, make a lot of beats. Like I made 5 to 10 beats a day for real and focused on getting the reps in. I'm literally right now at beat number 3,200 because I thought it would be funny to count it, to see like where would I end up. But I started making a lot of beats, just focusing on getting the reps in, because I saw, who was it? I saw like, I think it was Southside, and then they were posting their lives and they were making so many beats. I was like, oh shit, I guess I have to do that too if I'm even gonna get close to them, because they're so much, like they're far more experienced, talented, etc., etc. So I started doing that. But then one thing that really helped me, because I'm no musical genius, like I can hear notes and stuff, but I'm not that awesome. So what really helped me was to learn basic music theory. So I did that. And the way I learned music theory, or what I learned rather, was the number system for chords and the major and minor scale and how they're built and the chord, like where the chords go. That is it. And I recommend you, like there's a gazillion videos on that now. So just look up like music theory for producers, look that up. It will help you. It helped me a lot, at least. So I learned basic music theory, because when you know basic music theory, then the only hard or difficult part about production is making the right melodies and the right sound selection. But you don't ever have to get stuck on the musical aspect. So that's why I recommend learning just basic theory so that you know what you're doing. And then, as I said, made 5 to 10 beats a day. But most importantly, and this is probably the most important thing, was that I modeled and emulated the greats. And what I mean by that is that I would look at the people making the hits, making the big songs, and use them as references. I wouldn't remake, because I felt like, oh, why am I gonna waste time remaking when I can just do what they do, but in my own way, and then I have a beat to give out to people. So that's what I started doing. So I started doing this thing where I built idea banks. For example, here, I built an idea bank just now because I wanted to make like an 80s style track, and I don't know, I don't make a lot of those. So I felt like I needed some inspiration, some ideas, and I needed to learn from the people way ahead of me. So I just got these songs, like 80 songs or 80 sounding songs, like there's only 2 that are from the 80s. But I got these 80 sounding songs, started listening to them, really internalizing what they sound like. And I took inspiration from them. So basically the beat that I ended up doing is almost like a mixture of Take My Breath and this Tory Lanez song. I can actually play them for you real quick. If you listen to that's the Weeknd song. The Tory Lanez song. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open up mine just so that you can hear it. There we go. So I took elements from both tracks, and it wasn't even intentional. I just listened to them, internalized them, and modeled the people way ahead of me. And this isn't to show this specific track, but this is what I did the entire time. I literally did this the entire time. So I made 5 to 10 beats a day, built idea banks, and also I went to the top 50 charts. So I would go to, for example, I'm in Sweden, so I would listen a lot to the Swedish top 50s. And I would just load up the top 50, play it from the beginning, then listen through it. Like I wouldn't even use these as references sometimes. I would just listen through them to get an understanding of, okay, what is working, what is not working, what of this can I incorporate into my music, and stuff like that. Like I would listen to everything from pop to whatever was on the list. I wouldn't just listen to rap and trap and hip hop. I would listen to everything, because that taught me also what works. Because you can find patterns, regardless of the genre, you can find patterns that are reoccurring. For example, in Sweden, no matter the genre, the 4 on the floor kick was huge, because we have like a version of trap with 4 on the floor. It was huge in trap, it was huge in pop, it was huge in everything. then that tells me, okay, that's something that works. That's something I can do more of. So yeah, modeled, I can't say that, modeled and emulated the greats through building idea banks, top 50. Then I would a lot of times figure out the chord progressions. So we'll play this song, find notes for the chord progression and learn the chord progressions that were popular. You can also like just do a very quick Google search for that, or like ask ChatGPT. I don't know why I didn't do that. Or ChatGPT wasn't around, but Google was. But if you know the number system, you can just find songs you like, check them out, see what numbers they are. Like is it a 1-4 progression in minor, a 1-6-7 progression, whatever. And pretty quickly you realize that it's all just the same and there's really no unique progressions. And then that makes it even easier because then you know, okay, which progression am I going to use to make this vibe that I want? So if I want to make a Gunna type vibe, okay, I know I'm going to use these chords. If I want to make a Metro vibe, I know I'm going to use these chords, and so on and so on. So that's how I got good, by just doing that a lot of times. Then step 3 is finding one lane. So I started grinding hard and working very hard, but I saw no results. And the reason I saw no results is because it's just not about working hard. That was my belief at the time. I was just like, oh, work hardest worker in the room, work harder than everybody else. But that's not everything. And my problem was that I tried too many things at once. I was doing YouTube, type beats, SoundCloud, networking. Like I just tried all of these random things, hoping that one of them would just magically work out for me. Because in my mind, it was like, the more the better, right? But it wasn't like that. It didn't work. Because my attention was so spread thin and I didn't have skills in any of these things. Like if I had YouTube skills, or beat making skills for that matter at the time, if I had that, YouTube would have worked, but I had no idea what I was doing. And then I was doing so many different things at once that I never had the time to even learn how to do it properly. So because of that, I didn't get results. But what I did do was that I doubled down on what worked. So I did all these things at once, but then one of these things actually gave me something, gave me little results. That was networking. Because I noticed like when I was networking, at least I got to talk to people. At least maybe I didn't get to release songs in the beginning, but at least people used my beats, which was more than I could say for these. So then I figured, okay, if that works, let me do more of that. So I cut all of these out, stopped doing YouTube, type beats, SoundCloud, content. I did a bunch of, try to do memes and shit. Like I stopped doing all of that. And then I just focused on doing the one thing that actually did work, which was networking. And that made my life so much easier because I was also working a 9-to-5 at the time. Because, you need money. So I started focusing on 3 things daily, which was making beats, networking, and taking sessions. That was all I did. Now networking could look a little bit different. Sometimes I would go to events, not very often though, did it very few times. Events, go to others' studio sessions. So whenever I could get in a studio session, I would go there. Usually I would do that by knowing a guy that knew a guy, then go to that session, or DMing people. But I wouldn't just DM. I like to first build a real relationship first, or kind of organic relationship. So I usually comment on a person's post, maybe follow them first, maybe repost or release to a story. So you kind of have that natural networking, like real networking, not just, yo gang, check out my shit, not just that. So that's what I did when it came to networking. And then studio sessions, of course, once I had people to work with, I would get in the studio with them and do most of my songs there. But sometimes, you have to send stuff too, but I prefer the studio because it's easier to get the vibe, get the beats in. Can even have worse beats and probably get them placed just because, studio vibes. And that's what I did. And I just did that for over and over and over and over again. My days were not exciting. It was literally just wake up, go to work, go home, make beats, or go to the studio, network a little bit, then repeat. That was literally my days. But I started doing this. However, I had one more problem, which was that I still wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to see. And that brings me to step 4, which was climbing up. So my problem was that I wasted time with non-serious artists a lot. And because of that, I made no progress. And the reason that you can't make that much progress with unserious artists is because if you're dependent on them releasing songs or, paying you, it's not going to happen with unserious artists. Because first of all, if you're thinking upfront payments, they're not even respecting their own time. They're not even serious about making and releasing songs. And you think that you're gonna, and I fought this, but do you think that they're gonna pay you? Like, they literally don't care. They do not care enough to even grind themselves and take care of themselves and make sure that they come up. They don't even care enough to do that. Are they gonna care enough to give you a beat or pay you for a beat? It's not gonna happen. Second of all, then it's like, okay, cool, I take royalty splits. Cool, do that. But these people, they're gonna release every 6 months, tops. And then once they release, because they're not putting in the effort into marketing and getting better and making better songs, they're gonna get like 500 to 1,000 streams. And then you, as the producer, you also have 500 to 1,000 streams. You, as a producer, only release every 6 months. So that is why I realized, like, okay, I can't keep doing this because I'm gonna get nowhere. And that's when I started to climb up, and I started networking, what I like to call networking vertically. And what that means is that you, instead of trying just networking like this, you network not like this, like going for the biggest, because that's not gonna work, but you angle it slightly and you network like this, so you can slowly go up. That's what I started doing. And the way I did that was through friends of big artists. That's a typo. Friends of big artists. That's what I started doing. And then I would work with them, do a fantastic job with them, like make really good beats, be very service-minded, be nice to hang around, nice to get in studio with. And then they would eventually, like they would release songs. Maybe it became their best performing songs, whatever. They would get the big artist, or the big artist would actually reach out to me eventually. That happened on a lot of occasions. It's just because I networked vertically. And in the beginning, sometimes it was like friends of friends, or friends of friends of friends. But you gotta start somewhere. And as long as you know that you're going in the right direction towards bigger artists, then you're good. The rest is up to you to do the best work that you can so that people want to refer you. And also, all just up to time. And the more you do this and the more people you do this with, the likelier you are to speed up the time. Because if you think about it, the more friends of friends or friends of big artists that you work with, the more likely you are that somebody's gonna pick up on you sooner. So spreading yourself in the beginning, spreading yourself a lot, working with a lot of different people, getting a lot of different connections helps. And it helped me a lot too. So I just try to be everywhere, especially when I was at this stage. And I focused, as I said, a lot on building relationships. Like not pitching, not saying, hey, I have fire loops. Let me listen to my shit. Sure, I mean, people make it work, but it didn't work for me. And you don't have to agree with this, that's fine. But I just noticed that whenever I focus on building real relationships with people, that worked better. And the way I did that was just, as I said, like not just cold DMing straight up, but instead figuring out, okay, got this person, I want to connect with him. Like, how would you normally connect? Would you normally send DM and say, hey, let's work? It's like if you're seeing a girl on Instagram, it's not like you're gonna send a DM and say, hey, let's fuck. Like, you're not gonna do that. So I just started, commenting on posts and reposting to my story. Then once I got a response, that's when I reached out and we could have actually like a conversation, talk about stuff. And then we could work together and form a real working relationship. And it also kind of changes the dynamics, because then they want to work with you and you're just not some kind of leech just trying to come up or whatever. So it just changes everything and it makes it so much easier, and yeah, something I highly recommend doing. Then the next part of this, as I said, was doing a very good job. And the way I did that was by becoming a producer, not just a beat maker. So what I would do is like, I would go in and make the whole song. I would go in and make a whole album after a while. And when I say make the whole song, like I would help with top lines, help with the lyric writing, help with everything really. I really work with the artist to make this song the best it could possibly be. And the same goes for like mixing. If they wanted changes with the mixing, I would fix it. Same goes with the beat. If they literally like happened to me like halfway through a session, it's like change the entire beat. Sucks, but okay, let's do it. If you think that's gonna make the song better and I can be a part of making the song better, then let's do it. And it did make the song better. So it's like going above and beyond without killing yourself, of course, or not killing, but like ruining yourself. But just like do a really good job. And that led to me starting to take upfront payments or higher splits. Like once I climbed up and I started working with artists who actually could stream, I'm talking like at least 3 million a song. That's when I really that's what I can emphasize. It's like, that's the best place to start taking higher splits. Because you don't want to, it's hard, but like when you're just working with very small artists, splits don't do anything for you, which is fine if it's kind of like a symbolic thing and you just want to work and your friends and whatever. Like it's fine. I did that too. But the best time to take splits is when you get with people who are actually streaming, because then you can make money of it. And you take both the publishing and the master split. Then of course, upfront payments, like charging a little bit more for the upfronts, you can do that too. So yeah, the outcome of all of this was that I climbed up and built relationships with bigger artists. I got to 120 million streams. I got paid through royalty splits and upfront payments, 3 to 5K per beat, 20 to 30% splits, reached the 100K milestone by 23, and became a full-time trap producer. The main lessons here are just lock in, sacrifice distractions, and commit fully to the mission that you're on. Second lesson is get good at what you do. Get good at making beats, get good at handling people, get good at being a producer, get good at making full songs, and get the reps in. Like do a lot of songs, do a lot of beats, do a lot of networking so that you get good at handling people. Everything that you want to get good at, just do a lot of it, and you're going to get pretty good at it. Then once you see something working just a little bit, double down on that and pick one lane. Don't try to do everything. Pick one lane, double down on that, work super hard on it. Then, yeah, focus on serious artists. Be more than just a beat maker. I found that to be super valuable. If you can do everything, people will feel locked in with you, and it's just so comfortable and easy, right? They can just go to you, everything gets fixed. Amazing. They'll want to keep working. Then the last lesson is just to stick with it and stay obsessed, because this can take time. That's not something that I'm going to lie about. Like, it takes time. But if you're really obsessed and you really, really stick with it, you can make it work.